Yeah, let's get straight into this. Seriously? Disaster relief chief fires back amid flood controversy. The federal government's flood relief boss has fired back after being accused of victim blaming in a controversial interview. And this is from the 4th of March 2022. Australia's disaster relief boss has dug his heels in after he was criticised for saying people who choose to live in flood-prone areas shouldn't blame the government for losing their home. Shane Stone, the head of the National Resilience and Recovery Agency, told Nine Entertainment that floodplain development should end and inundated homes not be rebuilt. You've got people who want to live amongst the gum trees. What do you think's going to happen? Their house falls in the river and they say it's the government's fault, he said. Australians need to have an honest conversation about where and how people build homes. The taxpayer and the ratepayer cannot continue to pick up the bill for these huge catastrophic damage events. Yeah, I just picked out some key parts of this article to give you an idea of this guy who's obviously operating on some Ben Shapiro logic.
Underwater, right? Which let's say all of that happens. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
Just one small problem. Sell their houses to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman!
Yeah, everyone that owns the homes on the screen right now should just sell and move elsewhere. Simple as that. Is that what you recommend, Mr. Head of the Disaster Recovery Agency? Okay, yeah. Alright, and I'd just like to move on to the rest of the article because there's some information in there I have to share with my fellow Australians. Okay, the federal government's $4.8 billion emergency response fund has been in the spotlight this week amid the flood crisis because only a fraction of the available money has been spent. The Emergency Response Fund investment vehicle allows the government to draw up to $200 million a year in additional funding for emergencies and natural disaster recovery and preparedness. Since it was established in 2019 with an initial $3.9 billion investment, the Emergency Response Fund has earned some $836 million in interest and paid out $50 million in disaster projects according to the Department of Finance. I even managed to find a clip of Mr. Stone being asked about this.
The specific fund, the Disaster Fund for Mitigation and Recovery, it's been in place for 3 years. I think it's up to $4.8 billion or so. Not 1 cent's been spent so far out of that fund on recovery. Why not?
Well, it's fake news to start with. I mean, 50 million has already gone out on flood mitigation. Another 50
that's
million.
Not recovery.
When we run out of money, and we haven't run out of money, and I have not been refused funding, then we would look to that fund. I mean, Australians
but hang on.
should be
You just said,
reassured that I have that as a backup.
You said it was fake news. I said no money had been spent specifically on disaster recovery from that fund. That's true, is it not?
Well, that's look. You can twist the words around, Tom. I have plenty of money to deal with disaster recovery.
Okay, but I'm just asking a very direct question. You said it was fake news, but what I just said there is accurate, is it not?
Well, I dispute what you're saying and the way you're saying it.
So yeah, what was that about the taxpayer cannot continue to pick up the bill? Well, it seems like you can pick up some of the fucking bill with the interest gained from the Emergency Response Fund. So yeah, this is from finance.gov.au and we've got here the total at the start, 3.9 billion, and then the amount that it earned, 836 million, which equals 4.8 billion, and then you minus 50 million, you still have well over 4.7 billion. And this is from recovery.gov.au. The Act allows the government to draw up to 50 million each financial year to build resilience to prepare or reduce the risk of future natural disasters. 50 million. And then the other 150 million out of the 200 million each year you can spend, that can be used for emergency response and recovery following natural disasters in Australia that have a significant or catastrophic impact. What would you call the fucking floods at the moment? I would say it's pretty significant and catastrophic. So this guy is trying to blame people that have had their homes destroyed. Kind of like, it's your own fault. It's your fault for deciding to live there. And trying to complain about the taxpayer picking up the bill while he's sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars which could be used to help right now. So this emergency response fund is only really there just to earn interest. Alright, and just one final note about this $200 million a year and how that's what the Act allows. And so they wrote into the conditions of this $200 million that 25% of it can be used to reduce the risk of future natural disasters, and then the other 75% of it is what can be used for recovery following a natural disaster. That's what's written into the Act. They are the requirements that they wrote for getting that $200 million. Just keep that in mind as you watch this final clip.
It is an inescapable fact. We spend 97% on cleaning up and only 3% on getting ready. We need to ask ourselves, are we prepared for the next disaster? Can we do it better? What must we do in the way that we are going to live in the time ahead in this wonderful country of ours? So I appeal to all of Australia. We're all in this together, and I really mean that. We've got to flip that 97 and 3%. Get better prepared and get a better handle on the way we are responding to potential disasters in the time ahead.
Oh, and how the irony of this time, they actually did spend the 25% getting ready, but they refused to spend the 75% cleaning up. And the whole 100% is still a very small portion of just the interest earned in the fucking fund titled Emergency Response Fund. Thanks for watching. My thoughts are with the people in the flood areas, and my heart goes out to the families of the people that have lost their lives in this year's floods.